I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Here is author and international entrepreneur Jack Nadel.
Out of the box means having the courage to recognize and seize opportunity. Our program is dedicated to the positive side of life and the people who make it happen. Patricia Bragg is an ND and PhD. She has traveled around the world 13 times, given lectures on health, nutrition, longevity, and exercise. She is the author of 22 books and the crusader spreading the Bragg Healthy Lifestyle principles. Patricia, it really is a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Jack.
Patricia, your father was the pioneer in health, food and health style and healthy living. Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, my father, Paul Bragg, was the originator of health food stores and founded the health movement in America. And of course, necessity is the mother of invention. My father was dying at 16 of tuberculosis. In the early days in America, people died when they had TB. They were literally consumed.
Sure.
And my father met a little Swiss nurse at the third sanitarium he was in, and she said, one day he broke down and cried, and she asked, "Why are you crying, Paul?" He says, "I don't want to die." And she said, "You don't have to die. Where I come from in Switzerland, you get well." And my father said, "How?" And she said, "Fresh air, sunshine, exercise, fruits and vegetables." But my father said, "Why don't they do that here?" She said, "Paul, I don't know. But see, in the old days, you had bed rest, no fresh air, the window was never open, couldn't exercise. Just think of that. He hardly ever saw any fresh fruit.
So he developed this whole principle.
That's right. He said, if I get my health back this natural way that Nurse Maria told my father, I'll spend the rest of my life teaching others the road to health. And little Paul Bragg never forgot that pact with God. He went on to found the health food store, the industry, introduced juicing to America. Even Jay Cordish, the juice man, said, "Your father was my mentor, Patricia." Jack LaLanne, Dad started. He went all over America and the world teaching others to be healthy.
How old were you when you decided that you were going to follow in your father's footsteps?
Well, that's very interesting. Of course, I grew up loving and living the health life, and I knew nothing different, and I loved it. But I wanted to be a missionary. And in my church, I was very active. As the minister said, he couldn't get along without me. If anybody needed to hand anything out, I was always handing the literature out and running and doing everything that I could do. And I was planning to be a teaching missionary. And I can remember this one summer, my father said to me, he said, "You know, Patricia, I wish you would give me a chance." He said, "I wish you would be a health missionary.
Okay.
Just give me 1 year." And you know what? That 1 year has been over 55 years.
Fantastic.
And it's wonderful. I love it.
Well, you talk about living to be 120. Now, that's a tough concept. Most people say, if I make 100, man, or 70 or 80, now you're talking about 120.
Well, listen, what about the good book, the Bible? All right, Genesis 6:3, where it says, "May your years be numbered 120." And we stand on the Bible. We really do.
So if it's written in the book, it's so,
That is right.
right?
It's a good book of life. If we followed the Bible, we wouldn't have all these problems today.
Well, I see you wrote a book on that, didn't you? Bragg Real Lifestyle.
That's right. It's Bragg Healthy Lifestyle, Vital Living to 120. You clean up your body by what you eat, what you drink, what you breathe, think, and do. And then you heal your body, and that's when you have vibrant living. I did it for J.C. Penney, Conrad Hilton, the hotel man, Dr. Scholl, the foot doctor. All three men lived to be almost 100, and they were never senile.
Tell me, how far gone do you have to be? Let's say you've really dissipated your entire life, and you ate everything wrong, and you drank, and you did, and you even smoked. Now, at what age can you turn it back?
Listen, long as you're breathing. I mean, I'll tackle anybody, long as you're breathing and you want to live. We took Conrad Hilton at 80 out of the hospital in 5 days, and they said he would only have a week to live. He was almost comatose.
Really?
And his daughter-in-law, Trish, was reading him our book, Their Miracle of Fasting, that changed his life. And he said, I want to be like that man, Bragg. We gave him total care in his IV drip instead of sugar water. We had physiotherapy, massage 3 times a day in the hospital for him, and oxygen therapy, where he was breathing oxygen. See, we're breathing machines. It's important. Most people are shallow breathers. Oh, the invisible staff of life, this oxygen, it's free. And you need to breathe deeply and never smoke, never smoke. Now, we had him out of the hospital in 5 days at 80, and we gave him a whole new life. He was interviewed 8 years later by People magazine, and he said, I would have been dead if I didn't get on the Bragg Healthy Lifestyle that the Braggs teach.
Okay, let me ask you something now. All right, most of us are regular, ordinary, fallible human beings. And I read your books, and you say you've got to fast once every week, and then you've got to fast 3 times at the beginning of the month, and then you've got to do this special kind of diet where you don't eat many different things. Let's say I want to go to 100. Can I do a little bit of that?
Yes, Jack. Now, Priscillius, who was the father of chemistry in the body, said fasting is the physician within your body. See, this is your physical body. It's your automobile that takes you through life. Most people they don't even give it a thought. Men take better care of their cars than they do their human bodies. So I'll repeat it again. You are what you eat, drink, breathe, think, and do. Yes, as soon as you make up your mind to live the Bragg Healthy Lifestyle, we have millions of people that follow our teachings all over the world.
Can they do it if they have to dine out, if they have to entertain, if they have to be in the social life, in the business life?
Definitely. We had the man, Art Salisbury, that founded the Jolly Roger restaurant chain, and he practically owned most of the Sizzler restaurants. He was a multimillionaire. And you know what? He even enjoyed cooking his own food and everything. Yeah. He said, it's funny, I go into my own restaurants and I tell them what I want. I want an unopened baked potato. He said, I want a plain salad with no salad dressing on it. You bring the apple cider vinegar and the 100% olive oil on the side, and I'll put it on myself with a couple of slices of fresh lemon. So simple.
So you can do that.
Certainly you can. Yeah. You can have wonderful things in restaurants.
Can you help professional athletes to be? Without bulking them up and without all the chemicals that destroy them later on.
I have Joe Weider. Weider barbells and all, and his wife Betty. And Betty's mother is now over 100, and they were up here in Santa Barbara visiting me. And he uses our Bragg liquid aminos every day, which gives you the 16 amino acids. We have a lot of weightlifters that use Bragg liquid aminos. They're not isolated amino acids. They're all natural, and they're wonderful as the seasoning on potatoes, salads, casseroles, brown rice, beans, even popcorn. And now, far as weightlifters go, a lot of weightlifters, you have to be very careful because they beef up, they get too big, and then when they hit 40 or 50, those nice pecs, they drop and then they need a bra. Now, let's face it, they're not meant to be so big.
Yeah.
Because you have to keep all the cardiovascular in shape, and when you spread out and get too big, you're putting a burden on your heart.
Along with the diet, there's an exercise program you recommend.
Now, I told you that I wrote the Triathlon Training Manual book. It's 600 pages. I've worked with Dave Scott Tinley.
You should have an army of people following you.
Well, I do.
Patricia, you're the answer.
Well, in fact, Scott Tinley's father-in-law was due for surgery, and Scott called me up in emergency. He said, Patricia, I need your help. He said, my father-in-law's to have surgery. Will you talk to him? And so he lived in Palm Desert, and I just happens that I had a home down near there, and I said, I'll go down. So I consulted with Scott Tinley's father-in-law 2 days later, and guess what? He changed his lifestyle, and he didn't need the surgery. And I saw Scott, a couple of years back, he said, Patricia, my father-in-law is so happy he didn't have that surgery. We've saved thousands of people from three-way bypasses because when you change your diet and your lifestyle, earn your food by exercise, when you fast 1 day a week in the first 3 days of every month, that gives you internal cleansing and purification. What is it called but mucus and toxins coming out of your body?
Are there vitamins that you should take or shouldn't take?
Yes, I do.
You hear all the pitches out there.
Listen.
Take this and you'll be prolific. What? Take that and you'll be strong. Take this and you'll be young.
I say to people, do you have house insurance?
Yes.
Okay. Take vitamins and minerals. You know what they are? They're body insurance, health insurance. And anybody that's listening, you can go on the web. It's bragg.com. I've had a web page since the web started. And I like to be in the forefront.
Seems my father was in health. You've done everything when it started. You're right out there in front.
That's right. I started in TV in the late 50s. I had my own show 5 days a week called Health and Happiness. And Richard Simmons came over to my exercise class after I'd stopped my show. And he asked if he could video my exercise classes at Waikiki Beach, which I started that class with my father 28 years ago. Wow. It's 6 days a week over there.
With all the things that you pitch and all the things that you sell and all the ideas that you project, you're a nonprofit business. Would you explain that?
Well, I tell you what, my father started everybody that's practically anybody in this business, from Shackley, Herbalife. He was the inspiration to Twin Labs, Schiff, Thompson.
Yeah, but they all made fortunes.
That's right. And my father was never interested in money. My father, we've always lived a very humble, simple life. And my car is 26 years old. It drives
So the
beautiful.
money that comes in from the books and from the products, that goes back into...
It goes all back into my CPAs, that's right. And it's wonderful. I have a prison ministry. I go to maximum security prisons where listen, men are even afraid to go to speak, where they usually never allow a woman in. And you know, the wardens all tell me, Patricia, after you've been at our prison, the men are more like angels. He said they get along better with each other. They don't want to do drugs. They don't want to smoke. They don't even want coffee. Coffee has no vitamins, minerals, or nutrients in it. What we teach are the simple truths. And if it's to be, it's up to me. You tell yourself that every morning.
Let me say that again. If it's to be, it's up to me.
That's right. And every morning say, what am I going to do with this day? Listen, we all have the same baggage suitcase every morning when we wake up, or whatever time you wake up. And what you put in it through the day and what you do with it is up to you.
Well, what I've done with this day is fantastic, because I met you, Patricia, for the first time.
Well, thank you, thank you.
I want to thank you for passing on the message, for being here, and it's a delight.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure to share the message of health, and I love Santa Barbara.
Well, so do I.
I love it. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Thank you.